Scott, SJWellfire.com. Final Days Report, episode 364. We're calling this VCAS USA Sickness Inc. I'm going to cover a quick video of a doctor's long-term study within his practice, and the sample size was relatively large, so I think it's statistically relevant on who is sick and why are these kids sick. I mean, it's common sense if you follow this channel. Also, kids' dementia. I'm going to show a bunch of articles. Kids are getting dementia. Why? And we're going to next dive into Trump. That is just demonic with this poison poke as the days of Noah. Devil juice. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But the big picture, if you're new to this channel, it's a seed war. It's a seed war, my friends. They want to defile your DNA. Genesis 3:15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Talking to Satan, Lucifer. It shall bruise thy head, Satan's head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. That's talking about Christ. So the so-called chosen ones want to defile your DNA. They want you to be their pets with optogenetics. We probably do 50% of our VCAS on this DNA seed war. And a listener sent me how warp speed, you take out the P, it's war seed. And then you look at Operation Warp Speed and the logo and the cube. People have actually talked and dissected that. It's a genetic war, my friends. So don't be under the Trump spell, because this is alarming. I did not know about this tweet until a listener recently sent me this lead. Trump, it's reported, there's screenshots of it. Now, the fact checkers will say it never happened. Supporting Trump, it seems like the fact checkers that hate Trump would be all over this, but Trump tweeted, "My blood is the vaccine." And here it is. "My blood is the vaccine," from Donald Trump. Here's somebody else's post. Yes, at real Donald Trump really did tweet this, deleted now, but we screenshot it and saved this tweet by the thousands. Think we can safely say he is now entering a Messiah complex. Good night, my friends. Do not be deceived by false light. Now, here's where it gets even more strange of him saying, and you can see it in the captions as well, him saying that basically he's blaming God for this pandemic. And we know this was a plan. If you follow our ministry, we've documented how this was a weapon system, and the ultimate weapon they wanted to poke in you with the nanotech, with this mind controls tech, turning you into a wireless body network, the MAC IDs, all of it. During the pandemic, Trump was doing a press conference, and he said about the CV-19 pandemic, Trump said the enemy is God. It is so clear. It is so clear. The enemy is God. And if you can recall as well, I just played a couple podcasts ago how Trump was talking about the CV-19 as the days of Noah, devil juice, and he slipped and was starting to call it a weapon. You start to add this video in on how he's saying the enemy is God. Folks, this is defiling the temple of God that is you. That's the plan. From Wine Press News, Christian news organization. Remember when Trump blamed God for the pandemic? I'm going to read that again. Remember when Trump blamed God for the pandemic? He's going to say this particular enemy is God. You can't make this stuff up. I'm going to play a video here.
I'd like to give a shout out to my main man, Carl, there.
It's genuine, mate. Start at 25 minutes. And even the captions do say, the enemy is God.
Carl had sent me a video. And I said, Carl, that could be photoshopped. This is my reputation on the line. We have to be very careful about what all I share.
This is under the PPP, yes, the new SBA program.
He said start at the 25-minute mark.
Thank you, everybody.
We're listening. We're waiting to hear Trump say God.
Okay,
See if it
that
comes
begins
up.
right away, and they start handing out checks. And a lot of people are going to have their businesses built back up quickly, I hope. And we'll see. Complicated, big, small business is actually big business. So I thank them both. And please, good. We have some great gentlemen. Let me see. Great gentlemen. That's correct. Thank you very much. Today, my administration is also issuing new guidelines to protect elderly Americans who remain the most vulnerable. By now, nursing homes should have suspended the entry of all medically unnecessary personnel. Today, we're further recommending that all nursing home facilities assign the same staff to care for the same group of residents consistently to minimize any potential spread. And we're also urging facilities to designate separate areas for healthy and sick residents. And this is a practice that we probably will be recommending into the future long after the enemy is gone. This particular enemy is gone. We're also making every effort to provide.
He said it. This particular enemy is God. And notice how he, as soon as he said it, he kept right on talking. Like, yeah. Nice work, Carl.
This particular enemy is God. My blood is the vaccine. His tweet. All of this, my friends, if you follow our ministry, reminds me of the abomination of desolation, defiling the temple of God that is you. You need to give yourself as a daily sacrifice to Christ. So check out Final Days Report, episode 295. The third temple is not in the Bible, nor a red heifer. Because if they're going to sacrifice a red heifer, it's not a holy place. You're the holy place if you're the temple of God. So check out Final Days Report, episode 295. The deception is so over the top. Trump is coming in as a false light. He's going to come in and wreak havoc on all the evil. Satan is black. It's darkness. And Lucifer is light. Remember, MAGA is a high name for Satan, a high-powered position. I think the fifth level of the satanic temple. You can't make this stuff up. I'm going to do a grid, kind of a scorecard, I should say, of just Trump. You just need to pray that Trump has his Saul moment. I'm not a Christian. Vote one time. Where are my shoes during the assassination? I mean, wake up. Check out some of our old VCasts. Type in Trump at SJWellfire.com. We're going to paint it in a corner, my friends. Christians are. All right. Now, I thought this was a great video of market research on vaccines. People always say, well, where's your research that vaccines actually hurt kids? It's just somewhat common sense, right? Autism, 1 in 5,000, 6,000. I've heard different numbers, years ago, and now it's 1 in 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I mean, it's insanity. It's insanity. We're just defiling our kids. You can't sue Big Pharma under Ronald Reagan with that Vaccine Immunization Act. So good night. You're going to trust Trump, the proclaimed father of the poison poke. He backpedaled with RFK Jr., got some money from Pfizer, and then all of a sudden disbanded his relationship with RFK Jr. and his team that he assembled to look at the harms of vaccines. I mean, this is a flip-flopper. Lock her up. Oh, she's a good person. You shall know them by their fruits. Ephesians 5:11, and have no fellowship with unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. But let's listen to this. This was mind-bending. And for my background, I was a marketing director, general manager type, managing $100 million business units for Fortune 100 companies, and big into market research. For my MBA, I focused on economics and statistics. Now, I'm not an actuary, but I love statistics, and I just would really dive deep into market research and insights. And the sample size of this guy's practice is huge. It's huge. And you have to ask the question, why do the Amish not get autism? What do they not do? Let's listen to this thing. They don't vaccinate themselves, my friends. They don't have technology, and they probably eat organic food. Those 3 factors.
We were definitely looking at every single patient born in my practice. There was no cherry picking. There was no, we're going to exclude you for this or that. Every baby born was looked at, and we looked at every single office visit. We stratified them according to the number of vaccines they had.
Okay.
So basically we had over 500 who had 0 vaccines, and then we had another 3,700 and some who had some vaccines. And what we found, Del, was actually even mind-boggling for myself. What I was clearly seeing was these kids don't get sick. They don't get chronic conditions. Well, the data spoke for itself. When you're showing your viewers the graphs, those orange lines are over time, over that 10.5 years, the more vaccines you had, the worse you were for whether we looked at infections, ADD, ADHD, neurodevelopmental issues, eczema, allergies. It doesn't matter what we looked at, even just plain old anemia skyrockets in the vaccinated when compared to the blue line, the unvaccinated.
Wow.
This data is so powerful.
If I had access to this information before my daughter was born.
Feel sorry for that woman. All right, here's what blew me away. You look for patterns in the news. New illness hitting kids. It's called dementia. Look at some of these headlines. Childhood trauma tied to dementia symptoms. Girl 11 with childhood Alzheimer's. It feels like we're losing part of him each day. Boy 8 has childhood Alzheimer's. Kid dementia symptoms as Scott's boy was diagnosed with heartbreaking condition at age 6. And then check this out, Childhood Dementia Initiative. They build a network behind this whole thing. And you're going to trust the self-proclaimed father of the poison poke? And again, I ask the question, why do the Amish not get autism? They don't poke themselves with this pharmakeia witchcraft. And it just reminds me, if you followed our ministry 3 years ago, I watched patterns in the news, and Final Days Report 61 and 65, we're just covering some of the psyops of kids getting heart issues, myocarditis with this clot shot. And I covered up to 35 excuses. I counted them. And I'm talking about watching sports, playing video games, taking a shower, having sex, sleeping with the blinds not closed. It was laughable, the excuses of why people are having heart attacks. Laughable. You can't make this stuff up. Actually, Natural News covered this, Final Days Report, episode 164. They destroyed your heart with this mRNA technology, and then they're going to fix it. Problem, reaction, solution. So check out some of these old VCasts that we've done. It's the same playbook. Disease Inc., my friends. And it goes back to Kissinger trying to do population control, but it's worse. It's optogenetics, mind controlism. That's this fourth beast system of Daniel 2, iron mixed with clay, graphene oxide mixed in you. The seeds of men will not cleave. It's a seed war. It is a seed war, as we always say. Now, this is where I just get sick. How can you defile these babies? This is from Daily Mail. Experts question CDC's approval of COVID vaccines for under 5-year-olds because Pfizer study used just 3 children to prove it works, and Moderna admits it is only 37% effective. We should just assume we don't have efficacy data. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting, my friends. Now, here's where it gets just interesting. It's a war in the family. The ultimate conspiracy is a 180 from the Bible. I figured that out once I read the Bible a couple times. Yes, we have so many truthers, but get out of the right-left divide. It is those that are saved and those that are unsaved. And pray those people that aren't saved come to Christ. I pray government officials come to Christ. I pray Trump comes to Christ. He has his Saul moment. Nebuchadnezzar moment. I'm not a Christian. I mean, come on, folks. Get out of this delusion. It's fake light. The Antichrist will come in and solve all these problems that they created. It's a playbook. Lucifer's very, very smart. But get this. This is crazy. Parenting is hazardous to your health. Surgeon General warns. War on the family. The U.S. Surgeon General has issued an advisory warning that parenting can be hazardous to one's health. The advisory highlights the high levels of stress parents experience, which can negatively impact their mental and physical health. Some of the key points: high stress levels. Parents report significantly higher stress levels compared to non-parents, with many feeling overwhelmed and unable to function effectively. Mental health impact. This is a summary of the articles. The mental health of parents can affect their children's emotional and cognitive development. This is the state wanting to creep in for your kids. Probably they're using this nonsense to go after homeschool kids, get them out of the indoctrination camps. Children of stressed parents may face increased risk of depression and anxiety. Contributing factors. Major stressors include financial worries, concerns about children's safety, and the impact of technology and social media on children. I mean, do you see it? It's a war on the family. When the family falls, countries fall. Now we know Big Pharma can't be sued with vaccines, thanks to Ronald Reagan and the Vaccine Immunization Act. So we're just going to see vaccines being the solution for everything. Don't fall for it, my friends. Recent headline, fentanyl vaccine, potential game changer for opioid epidemic. We did a podcast, how the U.S. government runs the drugs. Just watch Clinton Chronicles. Go to Yandex or a different search engine and watch that video. You'll be blown away. The government runs the drugs, putting drugs in the Vietnam vets' coffins. I mean, it's just known Iran-Contra affair. We're drug runners. I personally met a guy who told me he was a level 5 drug dealer out of level 13 years ago before I was even awake. And he said the CIA runs the drugs at level 13. So it's evident. It's self-evident. If you have eyes to see, you can see it. And we did a podcast on why we got out of Afghanistan. Because it's cheaper to process fentanyl than heroin. It's just a fact. It's just a fact. So don't fall for this vaccine nonsense. All right. The last thing I want to just say is we did a podcast, Why the Military Poked You, Final Days Report, episode 361, with this mind controlism trying to steal your soul. And I've covered this article before, but this is how they're going to actually talk about zombies in the end of days, people that are out of control. Biting is happening at an alarming rate. People are going crazy. Check out Final Days Report, episode 361. It's called Optogenetics, Mind Controlism. But this is the cover when people start acting so unruly. From The Atlantic, how the zombie fungus takes over ants' bodies to control their minds. The infamous parasite's methods are more complex and more sinister than anyone suspected. Good night. They could turn mice into killers with this blue light. Think about the blue lights going everywhere, my friends. All right. How does this fit Scripture? This is why I do not have a spirit of fear in any of this, because it's in Scripture. Make sure you're saved, my friends. We've covered this probably 15 times, Revelation 18. I think this is seal 1. I think the waves of seal 1, where basically this one world government will take control via a bow, which is toxin. They're going to poke you with their toxins and defile you. But here we go, Revelation 18. And the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries, when we really look into the etymology of sorceries, it's pharmakia. By their pharmakia were all nations deceived. So what do we see? The rich men of this world making billions on their pharmakia. Seal 1. We wrote a book on it. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. I had a dream they want to turn us into pets, mind control pets, like we're their little dog, and defile the genome beyond your wildest imagination. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints, Christians, and of all that were slain upon the earth. Now, who is found the blood of the prophets? So let's read scripture, hermeneutics, Matthew 23. Woe, this is Jesus talking to the scribes and Pharisees. Woe unto the scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, because you build the tombs of the prophets and garnish the sepulchres of the righteousness, and say, if we had been in the days of our fathers, we would not have been partakers with them in the blood of the prophets. Wherefore ye be witnesses unto yourselves that you're the children of them which killed the prophets. So who killed the prophets? The scribes and the Pharisees. and her leadership. And then Revelation 18, and in her was found the blood of the prophets. The woman, we did a Bible study on this, the woman of the book of Revelation, our ministry's point of view, is Jerusalem. They're third in terms of technology with artificial intelligence, and the Antichrist will be run out of Jerusalem. So the key for this is not to have hatred, not to have evil, but to pray that the people in the synagogue of Satan and Trump get saved. That's what I do. I just pray they get saved, because some of the greatest whistleblowers of all of this have come within this system. Pray they truly get saved, my friends. So Scott with SJWellfire.com, a bit of a deep one. Let's summarize. It's a seed war. Trump's strange tweet that he deleted that people caught it's mind-bending. And then his comment that the enemy is God with COVID-19, that makes no sense because it was a man-made created bioweapon. And the main bioweapon is the needle that they wanted to poke you with. You need to think about this now. All of a sudden, kids are getting dementia. I mean, we heard the doctor talk about his 10-year study. That should be mainstream news if the news was real. Kids get sick that are poked. The Amish don't have autism, and they don't poke their kids. And you're just going to see more and more excuses to poke you. More ailments, like heart problems caused by the poke, solved by the poke. They're going to have vaccines to solve cancer, but they created cancer. You see how this works? It's evil. It's absolutely evil. Get saved, my friends. Please share this. Have a blessed day.